I remember it as if it were yesterday. Wendy and I were visiting friends Jan and Ron, where I was going to try to replicate Lou Malnati's deep dish pizza for Jan. Now, what day was that again?
May 20th, 2023.
Oh, yeah, right. But the story starts much earlier than that.
So one time we were just talking about different types of pizza that he makes, and I was telling him about my favorite deep dish pizza from Chicago, Lou Malnati.
So neither Jan nor I could remember when we started talking about Lou Malnati's. But in 2018, Wendy and I visited Giordano's. Could that have sparked a conversation about Chicago deep dish pizza? Not sure. I wondered if it started in late 2019 when a mutual friend became general manager at Giordano's in Canton, Ohio. It could be we started the conversation in 2023 when I started my pizza blog. But again, I still don't know. Hi everyone, I'm Bobby Warren from playingwithpizza.com. At this point, we don't know when this conversation started that I was going to try to replicate Lou Malnati's, but I knew one thing, that it was important to make a good pizza for Jan. But it couldn't be the first time I tried to make a Lou Malnati's pizza when I was at the home of Jan and Ron. There had to be a test. I am no America's Test Kitchen, but I couldn't go in cold. So here's what I did. I started researching the internet. I looked on the pizzamakingforum.com, and there was a lot of great information. I watched videos. I watched Brian Lagerstrom. I watched one about making perfect pizza at home, in which that was the dough recipe that I ultimately used. I watched all of Lou Malnati's ingredient video series about how they make the dough, about how they choose the tomatoes for their pies, what cheese they use. I watched Mark and Rick Malnati in YouTube videos as they taught other people how to make their pizza. So there was a lot of information out there, and I got to tip my hat to Mark and Rick Malnati because they really love their pizza. They're great advocates for Chicago deep dish, especially Lou Malnati's, and they have a heart to teach others about this because they're really passionate about what they do. One of the things I did was to research the tomatoes. As I watched the Lou Malnati video, I noticed there was a poster in the tasting room that showed that they were in the facility that manufactured San Benito tomatoes. Now, it looks like that's a product from the Neil Jones Food Company out in California. I didn't have access to San Benito, but I did have access to Stanislaw Tomatoes Alta Cucina, which is a whole peeled pear tomato. And it's kind of in the style of San Marzano's. And looking at all the different videos, it looked as though Lou Malnati's uses the whole tomatoes and that they are crushed by hand when the workers are making the pizzas. They could also be using tomato strips, and just some of the tomatoes remain whole and do not get cut up.
What I really appreciate about this tomato right here is that it stayed full and plump during the entire cooking process.
I had a difficult time trying to figure out the dough, and I'm not sure I really nailed it. I would like to try it again and just make it a little bit differently. The official Lou Malnati video shows a light, airy dough. And Chicago deep dish fans say that the dough is more like a biscuit or pie dough. This is what I ended up with. It seemed to turn out all right. My wife liked it. I let the dough cold ferment in the fridge for 24 hours. The next day, I brought the dough out a couple of hours early and put it in a pan along with some olive oil so that the dough could come to room temperature and it would be easier to stretch out in the pan. Now, gathering all of the things I needed for this pizza was quite a process in and of itself. I stumbled across the pan while shopping at Aldi. I got the tomatoes at Gordon Food Service, The cheese, I purchased that from a local Amish business, East Union Bulk Food Store. I had made meatballs and decided to use them instead of the sausage. I only bought a pound of sausage at 3D Meats, and I wanted to make sure I had enough for Jan's Pizza. Also, again, I went light on the cheese because I wanted to make sure there was enough for Jan's Pizza. I cooked the test pizza for about 25 minutes in a 450-degree oven, and let me say the pizza turned out nicely. I thought it was okay. Now, I'm a New York pizza fan, and my wife really liked it, as did my neighbors. But bear in mind, I have never tasted Lou Malnati's pizza. So in reality, the test drive was just to make sure the crust would be acceptable. The ultimate test, though, would be this. How did Jan like it?
Look at that cheese. Can't go wrong with the cheese.
We'll see how that is.
All right, here we go. It smells delicious. I better get a little bit of the crust.
We hope you'll come back for episode 4 of Chasing Lou and find out just how close did I get to replicating Lou Malnati's famous, iconic deep dish pizza. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed to it. Hit the notification bell so that you know every time we release a new video. Thanks again.